everyone is going to be looking at Caitlin Clark and seeing what she's doing, keeping an eye out at our fans. And obviously, in the Taylor Swift documentary, Caitlin, they made sure, and this is one of those things where it's like, you just kind of know if they're being smart about things. So in the Taylor Swift documentary, she's playing in Indianapolis, and obviously, am I right in saying this was the, was it one of the ones where it was like one day she was there in like the crowd, and the next day she was, there was such a big deal made about it. She was in the VIP section with Travis.
Caitlin Clark just made a blink and you'll miss it appearance in Taylor Swift's latest documentary, and the internet absolutely erupted. Haters are losing it. Fans are scouring every frame for screenshots. And make no mistake, the creators of that documentary knew exactly what they were doing by including her for that brief moment. But here's the thing, that tiny cameo says something much bigger about Caitlin's fame, something nobody's really talking about yet.
And I've seen this a good few times. I've seen this picture a good few times being like, oh, I think I saw Caitlin. They made sure, they were smart about it. They made sure to put a split second of her in it.
Alright, let's break this down. When you see Caitlin Clark randomly popping up in places like Taylor Swift documentaries or NFL games, does it make you more interested in watching? Or are you just tired of seeing her everywhere? Drop your honest answer in the comments, because this conversation is getting seriously interesting. Here's what just happened. Caitlin Clark appeared for literally one split second in Taylor Swift's new documentary. Not a speaking role, not a feature segment, just a quick shot of her at one of Taylor's Indianapolis concerts. And yet that 1 second clip has the entire internet talking. Haters are spiraling. Fans are hunting for screenshots. Social media threads are dissecting which concert it was, who she was with, and even what she was wearing. And here's the wild part. The people behind that documentary knew exactly what they were doing. It wasn't random. They made a calculated decision to include Caitlin in that footage, and it worked flawlessly. Engagement skyrocketed. Fans were rewatching the documentary just to catch her brief appearance. The result? Views, conversation, buzz. Mission accomplished. Now, let's be clear. Taylor Swift doesn't need Caitlin Clark to boost her fame. She's literally one of the biggest stars on the planet. But the documentary team's job is to get clicks, to generate views, to create conversation. And in that sense, Caitlin Clark functions the same way Taylor's fandom does. Show up somewhere and fans show up with you. We've seen this effect before. Remember when Taylor started dating Travis Kelce? NFL games suddenly spiked in viewership because Swifties tuned in just to catch glimpses of her in the crowd. The NFL didn't push back. They leaned into it, showing her on camera constantly. They understood the power of tapping into an audience that normally wouldn't watch football. Caitlin Clark is now at that level of celebrity. Just existing somewhere creates content. Her presence sparks conversation. Whether you love it or hate it, that is a type of fame that very few athletes ever reach. 1 second of screen time, and the internet is buzzing. It's marketing genius disguised as a casual moment, and it's working perfectly. Here's something most people don't fully grasp yet. Caitlin Clark spends more time in the off-season than she does actually playing basketball. The WNBA season lasts just 4 months. The off-season? 8 months. That means for 2/3 of the year, Caitlin isn't suiting up for the Indiana fever. She's not on the court competing. She's living her life, attending events, going to concerts, hanging out with friends, simply existing in the public eye. And here's the kicker. During all that time, fans are hunting for any Caitlin Clark content they can find. Every appearance, every post, every glimpse of her life becomes content. Her influence extends far beyond the hardwood. She's turned being present in the right spaces into its own kind of fame, a visibility that keeps audiences engaged year-round, long after the WNBA season ends.
Just below us here in Kansas City, Taylor Swift and Caitlin Clark, guard for the Indiana Fever.
That's why fans went absolutely wild over a 1-second cameo in a documentary. That's why people lose their minds when Caitlin Clark shows up at an NFL game or posts a casual photo with friends. The WNBA offseason is long, 8 months out of the year, and fans are starving for any content related to her. Documentary filmmakers, podcasters, and content creators, they all know this, and they're capitalizing on it. And honestly, it's not malicious. It's just smart business. When Sue Bird talks about Caitlyn on a podcast, those episodes blow up compared to ones without her. When Sophie Cunningham mentions her, engagement spikes. When the PGA referenced Caitlyn during a tournament broadcast, basketball fans tuned in. Everyone is realizing Caitlyn Clark's name carries weight, and they're using it strategically. Of course, there are both positives and negatives to that level of fame. The positives are obvious. Massive endorsement deals, a huge platform, influence in women's basketball, and financial security. The negatives? Also very real. Stalker incidents, constant scrutiny, the inability to go anywhere without being recognized or filmed. The price of celebrity isn't pretty. But let's zoom in on the Taylor Swift documentary moment, because it perfectly illustrates where Caitlyn sits culturally. She's no longer just a basketball player. She's a mainstream celebrity. Casual sports fans know her. People who don't watch basketball recognize her. That is exceptionally rare for a female athlete in any sport, and here's where it gets even more interesting. Social media recently provided another example. Liz Kitley, a former Virginia Tech star drafted by the Las Vegas Aces, posted casual photos with friends, including Monica Saxony, who is close to Caitlyn. At the end of the photo dump, a picture of Caitlyn Clark. Suddenly, the post blew up. People shared it, commented, and dissected it. Caitlyn Clark is hanging out with Liz Kitley? Just because Caitlyn was in the frame, attention skyrocketed. That's the ripple effect of her fame. Think about it. Liz Kitley was hyped as a potential superstar for the Aces last season, yet she barely played and averaged just 1.3 points per game. Still, because she's connected to Caitlyn, people paid attention. That's how far Caitlyn's influence reaches. Here's the bigger picture. Caitlyn Clark's fame extends far beyond basketball. The WNBA season is only 4 months, and players spend the majority of the year in downtime. For fans to stay engaged during the 8-month off-season, they need stories, personalities, and off-court content. And Caitlyn provides all of that naturally, just by existing. Compare this to men's sports. The NBA has games year-round, college basketball, summer leagues, international play, and training camps. In women's basketball, outside of the WNBA season, there's barely anything for fans to watch. So what do fans focus on? Who their favorite players are hanging out with, which concerts they're attending, social media posts, dating news, and documentary cameos. All of this becomes content. All of it drives engagement. Even women's college basketball benefits from this model. Star players stick around for 3 or 4 years, building fan bases and creating sustained storylines. Unlike men's college basketball, where many top players leave after one season, women's basketball offers long-term narratives that keep fans invested. Back to Caitlyn and the documentary Cameo. She has transcended basketball. People watch her for more than just her performance on the court. They watch her because she's fascinating as a person, as a cultural figure, and as a celebrity. And the documentary makers knew that. Including even 1 second of Caitlyn Clark guaranteed conversation, clicks, and engagement. It's intentional and strategic, and it worked flawlessly. The same applies to podcasts. Mention her name, even briefly, and viewership spikes. Her presence generates interest. Look at the PGA example. A casual reference to Caitlyn suddenly brought attention from basketball fans to golf. That's crossover appeal. That's mainstream celebrity. That's the kind of influence leagues, brands, and sponsors dream about. Of course, there are real dangers. Stalkers, constant surveillance, and security concerns are serious issues. Fame at this level comes with risks. But from a cultural and business perspective, what Caitlyn has achieved is extraordinary. She's made women's basketball must-watch for millions who never followed the sport before. She's brought mainstream attention and sponsorships and elevated her teammates just by playing alongside them. Now, a 1-second cameo in a Taylor Swift documentary becomes headline news. That's not just athlete fame. That's superstar celebrity status. Love her or hate her, you can't deny the cultural impact she's had. Her off-court presence is as powerful as her on-court performance. creating content, driving conversation, and generating engagement. And this is likely just the beginning. As Caitlyn continues her career, wins games, and potentially leads the Fever to championships, this attention will only grow. The off-court content will become even more valuable. Appearances, even fleeting ones, will continue to generate buzz. Caitlyn Clark has reached a rare tier of fame, a mainstream celebrity who happens to play basketball. Documentarians, podcasters, leagues, and brands are all learning to leverage that reality.s. The next time you see Caitlyn pop up for 1 second in a documentary and the internet loses its mind, remember what you're witnessing. Real-time proof of the power of her brand. The documentary makers knew exactly what they were doing, and honestly, good for them. That's smart business. That's the story behind Caitlyn Clark's Taylor Swift cameo, and it's a perfect lens into just how far her fame has grown.